Hello, this is going to be a video on how to format your paper from scratch in Google Docs for MLA formatting style. By the time we get done, your paper should look something like this paper template I have. I'm going to show you how to do your last name and page number, your heading, your title, and show you how to format your Works Cited page. Won't be showing you how to do the entries in general, but I will be showing you just the basics of MLA formatting in Google Docs. Okay, so I've got a new document opened here in Google Docs, and like I just mentioned, the basics of MLA formatting: you need your heading, you need your last name and page number at the top right of each page, and it all needs to be double spaced. The margins need to be 1 inch on all sides, 1 inch on top, 1 inch on the bottom, 1 inch on the left and the right. Okay, so that's what you want to make sure before you get started. And you see here my margins are set correctly. First thing I want to do, and it doesn't matter which one you do first, whether you do your last name and page number or your heading, but I'm just going to go ahead and do my heading first. Okay, so in an MLA heading, you're going to start with your first and last name. Oops. Actually, the first thing you want to do is change the font to Times New Roman. Make sure that's 12 point, and then type in your first and last name. Okay, your entire paper needs to be double spaced. So did you see I clicked on line spacing? I went to double, clicked on that. Okay, so now all I have to do is hit enter once, and it's double spaced, so I'm good to go. The next line in my heading needs to be the professor's name. Okay, this doesn't have to be, you don't have to write professor. It's whatever the professor wants you to say. Some people do Mr. or Doctor or Professor. So there's no one way to do it. Just ask your instructor on that. The next line is going to be the course, and there's no one way in MLA to do the course either. Usually you're just going to look at your syllabus and put whatever course number and section number that it lists. So for example, on my syllabus for my English 1301 class, it's listed like this. But that's another thing you could ask your instructor, but there's no one way to do it. You could write out English. English could be in all caps. There doesn't have to be a space between here, but so like I said, it's not that important. Just make sure you're doing what your instructor wants you to do. And then the last thing in your heading needs to be the date. Okay. Now this does need to be in a specific format for MLA, so you can't just write the date in any format you want. You have to start with the day first, then you hit space and you type out the month, and you're not supposed to abbreviate it. Okay. So it's the day, month, and then year. And it needs to be in that order, and you don't abbreviate the month. Okay, so in MLA formatting, like I said, it's entirely double spaced, no more, no less. So to go to my title, I just hit enter once, and then your title needs to be centered. So I'm going to click on Align Center. Okay, and then I write the title of my essay, and then I'm going to hit enter once, and then I'm going to go back to Align and hit left align. Okay, and now I'm ready to type out the first line of my essay. So I do want to show you this though. So I didn't say what I was doing. So I aligned left, and what you want to do at the beginning of every paragraph is hit the tab key once, and that indents the first line of the paragraph a half an inch. Okay, you want to do that. Don't hit space 3 times or something like that. The beginning of every paragraph needs to be a half inch. Okay, so I hit tab once. I'll just type out some random sentence. I'm just making things up here. Okay, so you see how whenever my sentence ran over into the next line, it's this next line of the sentence is not indented, and that's how you want each paragraph to look. Okay, at the very beginning of it. You know, I could keep typing here like I'm typing my essay, and it would just keep going, and every line would start on the far left. Now, whenever I start a new paragraph, I'm just going to hit enter once, and I'm going to hit the tab key once, and then I start writing. I write out that whole second paragraph, right? And it just goes like that, okay? So that's how you want your heading to look. Your first and last name are going to be on the first line of the essay, and then your title will be just that one double space after the last entry in your heading, and the first line of your essay starts one double space after your title, okay? Now, the only thing we're missing for the basic MLA format is our last name and page number at the top right of the page, okay? I've seen a lot of students try to put their last name and page number by putting it on this first line and then hitting tab all the way over, trying to fit that in like that, but that is incorrect. Your last name and page number should not be on the same line as your first and last name on the first line of the heading, okay? So you don't want to make that mistake, because your instructor will spot it really quickly. But you might be thinking, well, how do I put it in there if the first and last name is the first line and it can't be on the same line? Well, it's because the first and last name need to go into what's called the header of the paper, okay? You know, if I hit up on the up arrow, nothing happens, right? Because I'm on the first line right now. If I click on this space up here, it doesn't really do anything. What you need to do to get into the header is up here. You double click on it, okay? So I just double clicked, and you see the header just came up. One thing I want you to notice is that the font went back to that Arial that it was already set on. So I'm actually going to need to change the font a second time. I see a lot of papers where the last name is a different font from the rest of the essay, and it's because whenever you change the font in the body of the essay, it doesn't change it in the header, unfortunately. So anyways, let's go ahead and change the font to Times New Roman. Make sure that's 12 point as well. I'm going to align to the right because we want our last name and page number to be at the top right of every page. Type in my last name. Now I need to put in the page number. Now if I just hit 1 right here, what's going to happen is that on every single page it's going to say my last name and 1. I don't want that, okay? So don't manually enter the page number. You need to go to Insert, Page Numbers, and then get this one where the number's at the top right, okay? That's your different options. And I want to click on this one with the 1 and the 2. This option is if you have a cover on the first page and you don't want a page number, but we want a page number on every single one with this basic essay I'm showing you. So I just clicked on that option, and you see it's got my last name and page number. Now there does need to be one space between your page number and your last name, so I'm hitting the left key once, and then I'm going to hit space, and now I've got my last name and one space and my page number, and I am good to go. Okay, so I just clicked out of the header. I just clicked into the body of the essay. All you had to do is click once, okay? Now, but let me show you why we have you do that. Now, as I type, if I go to the next, once I type enough, so I go to a second page, it automatically inserts my last name and page number there, and it's so convenient. Yeah, let me show you what happens if you didn't insert your thing and you just typed in the page number. Notice how if I did it manually, now it just says my last name and 1 every single time. So you don't want that, right? You want to make sure that you have inserted the page number so it does it automatically for you. Okay? Now, if you are in a 1301, or maybe if you're in a 1302 or maybe a 1301 where they're having you do a research paper, you're going to probably be needing a Works Cited page. Okay, if you are going to need a Works Cited page, as you saw from my template earlier, the Works Cited page is always going to be the last page of the essay, okay? And it's going to be on its own page. You don't ever want to have halfway down the page it say Works Cited and think it's okay to start that on the same page as any part of your essay, okay? It has to be on its own separate page, okay? Now, I have seen, I can tell sometimes that students tried to just type in Works Cited and then hit enter until it went on to the next page, but that's doing it the hard way. The easiest way to do Works Cited page is go to the last line of your essay, okay, and hit insert and hit page break, Okay, go to Insert, Break, and hit Page Break. Now this, from where I was, this sent us to a whole new page. Okay, and if I go back to where we were, I'll show you. I'm going to hit Shift and to the right, and this is actually where the page break is. Okay, now, yeah, let me fill out this page, and I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second. So the title of your Works Cited page is going to be Works Cited. Okay, so I aligned center. Now I'm going to hit I'm going to hit the return key once, and then I'm going to align left, and this is where the first entry of my Works Cited page will go. If you are only citing one work, you're actually supposed to put Work Cited. If you cite more than one work, then you're going to do Works Cited. Now I've already copied and pasted some entries. I'm just going to paste them into this. So here we go. Okay. I just wanted to show you this to you. I'm not going to tell you how to format these entries in MLA style, but I do want to say a couple things about this. Because I see a lot of students making the same mistakes. So for one, I think some students think that you need to start your entries in your Works Cited page just like you're doing the first line of a paragraph, right? So I've seen a lot of students hit tab. It looks like they hit tab on the first part of the entry. So every entry is one tab over, and then the second line of the entry is all the way aligned left. That is not correct. Okay. There shouldn't be an indentation whatsoever at the beginning of each entry. So, here's some books that I use in my Comp 1 classes, and you do the author's name, the title of the book, the publisher, and the year. But so you'll see that I have 3 entries here. The author's name should be all the way far left. Don't indent it a ½ inch. Don't hit tab at all. Okay, and then when you get done typing in that entry, you hit return once, and it'll send you down here, and then you type in your next entry. Notice how this entry is longer than this one line, so it went to a second line. But with your entries, you don't want it to be you don't want the entire entry to be aligned left. Okay, if you go to a second or a third line in your entries, you want to indent the second line. Okay, and there's a couple ways to do this. My favorite way to do it is to just hit, because if I hit tab right here, that will actually indent the first line of the entry, and you don't want that to happen. So actually, I think the easiest way to do it is just you hit enter right here and then hit tab. Okay, and that moves that second part of the entry a ½ inch like we wanted it to. Okay, so that is how you format your paper in MLA formatting style. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you'd like me to do a video on a different program that you are using, then let me know that in the comments as well. But I hope this video helps, and I hope you have a great day. Good luck on your papers.